Hi everyone. So it's been quite a long time. I haven't made any video on with the topics, but today I have come up with a series of third year BDA subjects. So I'll be one by one. I'll be discussing like oral pathology, general medicine, and general surgery. So I'll basically be covering the important topics which are being asked in your examinations, and I'll be giving you brief notes, right? So that you can write in your examination and you can score well. So there'll be very crisp and brief notes, and they are very helpful. So let's get started. So the topic for today is fibrous dysplasia. As you all must be knowing that this topic is asked like most of the time in your examination. So I'm gonna discuss it in a very interesting way so that you can learn it right here itself. Okay, so let's get started. So the fibrous dysplasia. So the question which is being, I'll just quote the question which is like asked in your exams. So it can be asked like describe etiopathogenesis, clinical feature, radiographic feature, and histopathological feature of fibrous dysplasia. So how will you begin this? First of all, you must be knowing what is fibrous dysplasia. Let me tell you, it is an disorder of the bone. So basically, it is a developmental, non-hereditary, tumor-like condition, right? So it is developmental, non-hereditary, tumor-like condition. So from the first line, you just have to remember these two words. Okay, so it is a developmental, non-hereditary, tumor-like condition. It is characterized by replacement of normal bone by excessive proliferation of cellular fibrous connective tissue. So just don't get confused over here. I'll just explain it in a very simple way. Actually, what happened, there is normal bone, so normal bone get replaced by the fibrous connective tissue. That's it. Though this line means that the normal bone is replaced by fibrous connective tissue. Okay, so what it is a developmental non-hereditary tumor-like condition in which the normal bone is replaced by fibrous connective tissue. That's it. Next is your etiology. Etiology is also very simple. Now, etiology means what is the cause behind it? Why does it occur? So there is some defect. Definitely, there will be some defect in the osteoblast. Just use your brain, and it is very simple. Like, why is it happening? You just think about it. So it is because there must be some problem in the osteoblast, because osteoblasts are bone forming cells. You know this? They are bone forming cells. Bone forming cells. Okay. So there is some problem defect in the osteoblast, that is why it is occurring. Now what happens whenever there is some problem with the osteoblast? So as a result of which the immature bone is unable to convert into mature bone, right? So this is very simple. Etiology is there is some defect in osteoblast. The immature bone is unable to convert into mature bone. That's it. Next cause, there could be some genetic etiology also, right? So it is very simple. Okay, if you learn it here now, I can make you like sure ki this is like you will remember it for rest of your life. Okay, so genetic etiology is there is a gene. This is very simple. GNAS1. What it is? GNAS1. Just say it 10 times and you will remember it. Right? So genetic etiology, there is a gene GNAS1 which control the cyclic AMP. ठीक है, तो वो कंट्रोल करता है cyclic AMP को, which and this cyclic AMP is responsible for production and regulation of all the tissues, right? AMP. Then comes now what happened, there is some defect in this gene. Okay, so what happened, there is some mutation in the gene GNAS1. So there will be overproduction of this cyclic AMP. Obviously यहाँ पे अगर आप इसमें म्यूटेशन हो जाएगी, then definitely there will be some overproduction of this. If there is mutation, there will be overproduction of cyclic AMP. Now because of this overproduction, there is dysregulation of the tissue. Okay, so only 3 points you have to remember. GNAS1 is responsible and which control the cyclic AMP. If there is some mutation in GNAS1, there will be overproduction of this and which will cause some dysregulation of the tissue. That's it. Isn't it very simple? Yes. Now moving on to the next one. Now what happened, this GNAS1, it is present in 3 tissues. So this is like very important. This has been asked in your vivas, like what are the tissues in which like fibrous dysplasia is responsible in which tissues. So first you can write osteoblast, then melanocyte and endocrine cells. In osteoblasts, obviously you can say bone lesions will be there. If there is some problem in the melanocyte, there will be skin lesions, because melanocyte is present in the skin and it is responsible for melanin production, obviously. Then comes the endocrine cell. Endocrine means there will be endocrinal disturbances. Okay, so these three you just remember it, what it is: osteoblast, melanocyte, endocrine cells. Isn't it very simple? Yes. Okay, we will revise it once again. Etiopathogenesis means you just have to say कि there is some problem in the osteoblast. Now if there is some problem in the osteoblast, so immature bone will not be converted into mature bone. That's it. उसके बाद क्या होगा? There will be some problem in genetic etiology also. There can be some problem in gene. So the gene basically involved here is GNAS1. Now this GNAS1 is responsible for cyclic AMP. This cyclic AMP will, if there is some mutation in GNAS1, there will be overproduction of this cyclic AMP, right? So there will be overproduction of cyclic AMP, and this will lead to dysregulation of the tissues. Now in vivas it is asked like what are the three tissues in which your fibrous dysplasia is responsible, it causes some problem. So there will be osteoblast, melanocyte, and endocrine cell. Very, very simple. Okay, so this is about the etiology. Next we will talk about, okay, so next we have clinical features. Now the clinical feature of fibrous dysplasia is, it is of two types: monostotic fibrous dysplasia and polyostotic fibrous dysplasia. See, just here remember one thing, that monostotic is responsible for one one bone, so there will be some mutation or problem in the one bone, and in polyostotic there will be more than two bones. So I'll explain each of them in detail in the next video, but here I will just give you a brief about it, that in fibrous dysplasia two types are there. So monostotic fibrous dysplasia and polyostotic fibrous dysplasia. Okay, so the next is radiographic features. See, in radiographic feature, this is like very important. You just have to remember these 2 points: Rind sign and ground glass appearance or orange peel appearance. This is like viva question. I'm telling you right here itself. It is the viva question. It is very important. So, okay, I'll tell you what it is. See, in radiographic feature, what you see, the normal trabeculae pattern is lost. Obviously, if there is some problem in the osteoblast maturation, so there will be some problem in the trabeculae pattern, right? Then endosteal portion shows scalloping. So lucent lesions have sclerotic border, and these are called Rind signs. You know what endosteal portion is? See, if this is a bone, so it has periosteum, and the inner one is your endosteal. So the endosteal portion, it shows scalloping, and so the lucent lesions have sclerotic borders, and these are called Rind sign. Now there are some early lesions and mature lesions, right? In early lesion there will be unilocular or multilocular radiolucency. This is like very important. Early lesion mein you will see only radiolucency, but as mature it matures, there will be radio opaque spicules within these radiolucency, and which give a ground glass appearance or orange peel appearance. This is very important, just remember this. Okay, next also you can write, if you're writing in exams, you can write it is not well demarcated, margins blend with the normal bone, so therefore difficulty to define the limit of the lesion. Okay, you can also add these points just to grab more marks. Okay, so the next one is histopathologic features. This is very simple. Only the feature which you have to remember in this is Chinese letter pattern. Okay, if you say this in your viva, this is something which your teacher get to know that okay, you have read it. So it is also asked that in Chinese letter pattern is seen in which disease. So you will say in fibrous dysplasia. Okay, so histopathologically you will write that there will be fibrous connective tissue, obviously, because the normal bone is replaced by the fibrous connective tissue. So you will see fibrous connective tissue, and the tuberculae of bone in Chinese letter pattern. Okay, there will be no osteoblastic rimming, and the osteocytes, they are large in size and they lie inside the lacunae, and occasional giant cells are also present. So this is about the histopathologic feature. This is all about fibrous dysplasia, and about monostotic and polyostotic fibrous dysplasia I'll explain in a separate video which you can watch later on. Okay, and this was a brief about it, and this is everything which you need to know about to write in exams. Okay, thank you so much. Okay.